Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our Nascar Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day fresh off of Roush Fenway Keselowski's new driver Justin Haley was able to pick up that win there in Richmond for the first short track race of the season. We had some news coming into this weekend as well that NASCAR has actually dropped their race director following the caution controversy that wasn't just one time throughout the race, it was 2-3 times throughout the race. NASCAR has announced they have fired the race director and they have signed a new one to take over the role and responsibility coming into this Illinois 300 here from Worldwide Technology Raceway or Gateway, whatever you want to call it here. As for the first time this season, we're rolling in here with the Mobile One colors on the car. Excited for this weekend. I think this is a good opportunity. 4 races into the season. We've had 2 second place finishes to start the season, then we've had 2 back-to-back runs that didn't go very well. Last episode, stage 1 looked promising. We made a mistake in strategy in the later stages of stage 2, and that basically put us in an awkward spot for the rest of the race, and we never really recovered, so we didn't quite get the finish that I felt like we were capable of. So yeah, 2 good races, 2 not so good races to kick off the year. Race number 5, a bit of a reset. Gateway, excited to try and change things up and get back up towards the top 10. And practice immediately, I was feeling very confident. I felt like even in the Colleague car, remember we won 3 races in a Colleague car last season, but I felt like this is a track where we had really good pace, so even with a slower Colleague car, so I'm hoping that we can showcase that here again in Gateway with the Joe Gibbs machinery as we head through into qualifying with a goal of a 32.779. Turns 1 and 2 were okay. Missed the apex a little bit, didn't quite get it hooked up on the curbing, so I was hoping to make that up here in turn 3 and 4, and we're going to get right down to the red and white striped curb, and this is a pretty good 3 and 4, actually clipping the curb a little bit on the exit of 4. That's going to push us up a little bit more than I would like, but we're going to come down the front straightaway to cross the stripe and put a 32.353 front row P2 here in Gateway. We will absolutely take that, and pole position is going to go to the 24 Byron, who's still trying to snap that over a season-long winless streak. In the top 5 with us, we got Keselowski, Chastain, as well as Tyler Reddick, SVG P19 in front of Elliott, the regular season points leader. Last week winner Haley outside of the top 25 with LaJoy down in 39th, Allmendinger in 40th. We had some Truck Series and Xfinity Series racing this weekend as well. And the Truck Series, we actually saw Stuart Friesen go to victory lane over Ty Majeski. You see the finishing order on your screen. Landon Huffman with the top 10, some notables there. As you can see, Daniel Hemrick outside of the top 10, but inside the top 20 with Josh Rayom at the bottom of the grid at the end of the day. The Xfinity Series were in Atlanta, where Justin Allgaier was able to pick up the victory lane. Chase Purdy continues his really successful start here to the season. Same for Parker Retzlaff, William Sawalha, Sheldon Creed in the top 5. A notable of Connor Zilish, who hasn't really popped off yet, just outside of the top 10. Same for Rajah Caruth, just inside the top 20. And Nick Sanchez all the way at the bottom of the grid. It's not been a good start for him either. Now, let's get ready to roll, though, from Gateway on Sunday night.
We're ready to roll in Gateway. Sometimes referred to as a flat, small, Darlington-shaped track, is set to host race 5 of the season, where we've seen 4 different winners in the first 4 races this season.
It's been a fun season of diverse winners so far, Mike. However, we haven't seen Toyota win yet. We thought they would win in Richmond, but it didn't happen. You have to wonder if they are falling behind.
Hold your horses there, Kevin. It's only been 4 races, my guy. Today, that changes. They get a car in victory lane tonight.
Also, before we go green, it is worth noting that NASCAR has a new race director starting tonight, following the controversy of no yellow calls last week in Richmond.
All right, team. James, thanks for the great car this weekend. I think we got a shot to get our first win of the year here, so let's just make the right calls and be ready for anything.
I like the confidence, mate. Let's have a good night.
You hear our brief radio chatter there with our crew chief of James Small as we're ready to go racing here from Gateway under the lights. John Hunter needing a check there for Legacy Motor Club at the back after failing technical inspection. Chase Elliott as well to the back after crashing during qualifying, while his teammate William Byron in that Raptor machine on pole position here, now trying to snap that winless streak, the longest of anybody on HMS excluding Corey LaJoie, or actually LaJoie's won more recently than him, the 500 winner from last season. As we are ready to go racing, the green flag is out under the lights here from Gateway. You see just behind us, surprise, Brad Keselowski, as well as Coors Light. The silver bullet has hit the track here for RFK as we roll through 1 and 2. It's a battle of the beers tonight. You got Busch Light behind us as well as the Coors Light, and that number 6, Keselowski to P2, Reddick down there, and 4th just behind myself. Gateway, this is an interesting one. This is probably the most difficult oval on the calendar to pass. As I say that, Christopher Bell, my teammate, 3 wide up the inside of the 2311 machine of Reddick and Chastain. He'll move through into P4. A great run on the exit of turn 4, but track position really is king here, and leading is really, it's more hard here to pass the leader than any other track that we're going to visit this season. So good luck. If you're William Byron, and even if he doesn't have the best car, he could have a 10th place car and he can hold on to the lead. So that kind of puts it into perspective. You see Keselowski is able to get back out in front of me. Chastain trying to clear Bell and that ring machine down into turn number 3 as we have only 10 laps of racing here in stage 1. Stage 2 and 3 significantly longer than both than just this stage alone. So this is more of a sprint here in stage 1, and we had kind of settled in briefly until this mistake right here up the track on the exit of turn 4 coming to lap 4. That opens the door for Christopher Bell to go up my inside, racing a teammate. I could have chomped his nose into turn 1, but he was a teammate. We've learned a lot from last season, and Joe Gibbs, of course, has really been preaching the whole team play. We heard it in Daytona a few episodes ago, so I'm really trying to kind of rewire my NASCAR Heat 5 brain, and you know, even though it's a pixel group that we're looking at of cars, I'm still trying to race them like a teammate. So Bell was able to get ahead of me, and he would actually open up the gap. He was driving up to the cars in front, and another car I noticed with 5 to go in stage 1 that had been kind of marching his way up here was another teammate of mine, and that's the number 54 of Ty Gibbs. We've of course talked about our teammates this season. Chicago, we had a brutal day while Gibbs succeeded, but Bell and myself and Hamlin all did terrible. Hamlin finally got his first top 10 of the season in his final season last episode, so that was great to see. And I'm hearing we might get a reveal of Joe Gibbs Racing's throwbacks as soon as next episode that may all be paying tribute to Denny Hamlin's career, so stay tuned on that here. Now, white flag in the air in stage number 1, and look at this. Byron had opened up the gap a little bit to the 6 of Keselowski, who's now under fire from the 20 of Bell. In the background in the mirror, you can see Ty Gibbs. Actually, he's trying to make a move now to the inside of Ross Chastain. We're about to put 3 Joe Gibbs cars in the top 5 in stage number 1. Bell clear of the 6, Gibbs to the inside of the 1. Now, is this going to be all William Byron in stage 1 out of turn 4? Byron's going to win the first stage in that Raptor machine. 2nd to Bell, 3rd to Keselowski, 4th myself, and 5th goes to Ty Gibbs there in that number 54. Watch out for Ty Gibbs. He was absolutely flying. Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher there rounding out the top 10. Ryan Blaney just missing out on stage points. Same for Denny Hamlin, as well as Carson Hocevar, who looks to be putting together a pretty decent night as we continue to see Andretti improve. Making a few adjustments, specifically going up half a round on the wedge from a 50.0 to a 50.5. SVG there in P16. As you see the rest of the finishing order at the bottom of the grid, it's Barry, Gregson, and Allmendinger, colleague, not looking hot tonight here. Now we know, of course, with the big financial penalty that they got from NASCAR, things are going to be rough for them at times here. Now Tyler Reddick gains 2 spots in the pits. Gibbs loses 1, so Gibbs will now restart round number 3 outside. Stage 2 underway. Now William Byron leads us back to green. 21 laps of racing, 11 laps extra compared to that first stage here. Now, as you can see in the mirror, Bubba Wallace in that bright teal car there just behind us, similar to his real-life Money Lion car for this season. As we exit turn 2, a run down this back straightaway here, wheel to wheel with that 45 of Tyler Reddick. Reddick was, well, leading the final lap at the start in last episode in Richmond, but obviously left the door open enough for Justin Haley to pounce on it. So Toyota is still looking for their first win on the season. We've seen Ford win the 500 with Todd Gilliland, and then we have seen, of course, Chevrolet kind of take over with Larson as well. As Shane Van Gisbergen, Chastain forced a 3 wide unexpectedly into turn 1, and that made myself and the 45 collide, and that slows up the 45, the 19 of myself, and the 54 of Gibbs. Kyle Busch just behind that jockey, 99, having a top 10 run as well. Chris Buescher was able to slip through and take the lead there. So not exactly, or not the lead, sorry, up to 50 goes. It's still William Byron out in front of this race. But again, a run to the back of the 45 to the inside. We talked about track position kind of being king, and you're seeing some drivers get really aggressive. The drivers we expect, Ross Chastain, of course. So we'll remember that move from the one car. There wasn't necessarily anything wrong with it. It was just kind of unexpected, and it put myself in the 45 in a bit of an awkward situation right there as we continue on. And we're only on lap 5 of stage 2 at this point, and Byron under a lot of pressure from the 6, but who I'm under pressure from is that number 54 of Ty Gibbs. I was running down the 17, but I couldn't shake off the 54, and we've talked about it already this episode. It's about being a team player as well. If I don't have the speed to, really bring that 54 forward with me, I might as well then, get out of his way and let him do his thing. And I was really pushing up right here. Exited turn 2, I was really struggling. The 54 to my inside, down this back straightaway towards turn number 3, and I could chop his nose, and I'm just not going to. That 54 is absolutely flying, so we're going to let Ty Gibbs go through.
54, wanted to pass on a thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries, he's way quicker. We let Gibbs through. Kyle Busch to the back of me right now, but we stay ahead of him, and now we're just going to try and follow Gibbs. The battles up front are heating up. It's Bell versus Chastain for third. It's Kozlowski continuing to pressure Byron for the lead of this race, but he can't quite get it now, as you can see them going at it up there. But Gibbs is going to pass Buscher, and Gibbs is making it look easy to pass at a track that it's really hard to pass tonight. So I'm to the back of the 17. Can we get through on? Have you seen new scheme? Benish, I have no idea, to be honest, what that even is, but it looks absolutely slick. So we continue up the inside, trying to complete this overtake. Kyle Busch in our rear view mirror. Trackhouse, one win on the season. It's with SVG, of course, at Sonoma Raceway, but we're seeing finally Chastain kind of return to that Chastain that we expect up there in the top 5, top 3 now. He's passing Bell as we speak. We expect to see him fighting for wins. Kyle Busch has been pretty consistent, top 10s. He didn't have the race he wanted in, say, Chicago, but we saw Trackhouse kind of as a whole not have a great day there in Chicago. Now 13 laps to go at this point in stage number 1, and we move into that 6th position, and the battles continue up front. Kozlowski continues to put pressure on, but you saw a mistake right there in turn 2. That opens the door for the Jockey 99 of Kyle Busch to go through on the inside. I think Busch is back to being a threat this year. Last season, he was going to miss the playoffs until he went and showed up to Michigan and, well, had a lot of speed in that RCR number 8, was able to pick up the victory, and then he went into the playoffs and, struggled again. But he also had a failure early in the playoff run that really hurt his chances. So we never really saw, a title threat contender, Kyle Busch, last season. We really haven't seen it to begin with. You think back to season 1 of this career mode, Kyle Busch, he had a few wins early in the season, and then he really fell off in the final half. So he's really never been a title threat. But I think with Trackhouse Racing in this combination, with the speed of the team, his experience, of course, he's getting up there in age. He doesn't have a lot of time left in his Cup Series career, but I think this is the perfect combination for Kyle Busch to become a 3-time Cup Series champion. 6 laps to go in stage number 2 at this point. It's felt like a long stage. There's been a lot of racing going on, and the leaders were now going through some lap traffic, so that was going to spice things up just a little bit, but Byron was finding a way to navigate really without much issue, so the battle for the lead wasn't really heating up any more than it had been. So we continue to just follow Kyle Busch, and this is basically the closest I could get to this 99. I couldn't get any closer. We were driving away from the cars behind. It was just so hard for me to pass at this point. I just felt locked where I was, and you can see right here into turn 3, I could get right towards the back bumper, but I'm not just going to go and knock the 99 out of the way. It's Kyle Busch, but as well, I mean, there's no reason to go and just knock him out of the way. So at this point, really just settling in, looking for an opportunity. Sometimes the AI do kind of miss the bottom, and that's the opportunity, but we're not going to get it because stage 2 actually is going to end under caution as a yellow flies here. Byron, Bell, Gibbs got up to P3. I think it's going to be really hard. If that 54 can get to the lead, he's going to drive away. We're going to come in again, of course, everybody is for 4 tires in field, but we're going to up the right side tire pressures from about 28 to 30 PSI, and just hope that I can get maybe a little bit more turn off the corner here. Looks like Gilliland, yes it is, Todd Gilliland, the reason for the caution. It will be night over, as the Daytona 500 winner has had a pretty rough few races since. Ready to go green then for stage number 3. P7 behind Brad Keselowski, and now we're back underway, and for the start of stage 3, we're going to get amped here in Gateway.
to the wall.
An aggressive 3-wide move into turn 1 at stage 3. We got to get going after it now, and it's Owen in the JGR machine versus Trackhouse, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain down the back straightaway, leading the race now. It's Christopher Bell. We saw Byron lose the lead on the pit stop there, so that relegated him down a couple of positions, and now Ty Gibbs is to the inside of Christopher Bell. Will clear Kyle Busch. Chastain stays ahead for P5, but it's Ty Gibbs to the lead here from Gateway now as we head down this front straightaway. Gibbs 2 wins in the playoffs last season after missing the playoffs in his second season of Cup Series competition, and now he looks to get his first win of this season, make it easy. That would be career win number 3, as him and I, of course, came into the sport at the same time in this storyline of this Heat 5 career mode. We are both starting our 3rd seasons of our Cup Series career. I got 3 career wins, Gibbs has 2. He's trying to tie me at 3, and now, of course, 2 potential stars in the making here in this Heat 5 career mode have become teammates this season, and it's going to be really exciting to watch the dynamic play out. Is it going to turn into a rivalry, or will it, maintain to be a strong, kind of good team effort between us two? I think you'll find out in the playoffs. Usually that's kind of where things fall apart. Right now, all of Joe Gibbs Racing inside the top 10, including Denny Hamlin, who, of course, we've already noted has not had a great season so far, but he's starting to pick things up in the last episode there in Richmond with his first top 10, and now is running top 10 again. The question is, can he hang on to it? 6th place for myself. We are driving away from Kyle Busch from behind, and Chastain and myself are both running down the 24 in the 6 of Keselowski, who just doesn't quite seem to have that same speed in that 6 car that he's had all race long, and you're seeing that. Here goes Byron. Byron will pass Keselowski. Actually, I knocked the outside wall there on the exit of turn 4. Fortunately, only a little bit of virtual damage, or visual damage, sorry, not actually performance damage there, so we're going to be okay. And Chastain now is able to complete the pass on the Coors Light Mustang. We'll go up the inside now as Keselowski continues to drop down the order. What's gone wrong in this number 6? They have definitely gone backwards as we go down in towards turn number 1. It's still Gibbs leading over the 20 of Christopher Bell, coming to 16 to go, and the 6 car not making it easy for myself to pass him, but we would get clear into turn number 3. So into the top 5 we go here in this final stage. But what an interesting race this has turned into here from Gateway now. It's been kind of calm. It's been hard to pass, but at the same time, it hasn't felt like a bad race. It's kind of felt like who's bringing the best car is going to win this race. It's not like a lottery, so some of these races do turn into a bit of a lottery. However, this one has been very straightforward. In towards turn number 3, lap 47, smoke pouring out of the back of somebody, which is an opportunity for me to gain track position. That's Noah Gregson in the Colleague number 10. Colleague has had a miserable weekend here, and it gets worse there. They're going to have to add some more financial expenses there to fix that engine as we continue on. 13 laps to go at this point, and I just didn't have enough to do much more. I was holding on to 5th. Kyle Busch lurking in the background. He's also past Keselowski now. Gibbs leads. He's under pressure from Bell, but Bell just doesn't quite have enough in it to actually be able to go up there and pass the 54. A bit of a moment on the exit of 4. I'm really starting to slip and slide around a little bit. Busch coming with speed. I'll cover off to the inside with 10 laps to go here from Gateway in towards turn number 1 now. Busch going to try and roll around the top, which we've seen the AI been able to do so far a few times this episode. And here you go. You see I can't quite get the car to grip up on the exit. That leaves Busch to the outside, but fortunately I'm able to clear him into turn number 3, coming to the final 9 laps of this race now. I was a bit concerned for my tires, but not anymore because the caution has come out, so that's no longer a concern. It looks like Eric Jones in the 43 running in 15th for the Legacy Motor Club team is going to be the reason for the caution. That might be day over. Chase Purdy as well, 4 laps down in that 33 RCR car, his second start in the Cup Series after a strong start to the Xfinity season. I was thinking about pitting, but we just wouldn't have enough time to make up all the positions, even with a huge tire advantage. So we're going to restart. P5, Ty Gibbs will lead us to the green flag. William Byron, 1 stage 1, 1 stage 2. A poor pit stop put him off the front row for the start of this 3rd and final stage. Could this restart give him an opportunity? to bounce back here now and maybe take advantage of the 20 and the 54. I don't know if it's going to happen. That Ty Gibbs car is going to be very hard to beat side by side now with Ross Chastain down the back straightaway, approaching 5 to go. And again, we got 3 JGR cars in the top 4 as we speak. We lunge into turn 3. Byron up to second. Maybe it's game on. He's trying desperately to end this winless streak now as I slip and slide all over the place on the exit of turn 4. The top 3 get away and Chastain's back to the outside with 5 to go. He's going to nearly clear us into turn 1, but we stay just alongside here. Kozlowski fills up my mirror in that Coors Light machine. Kyle Busch to his outside as we exit turn 2 down this backstretch, and Chastain will get clear as we drop down to P5. Trackhouse has had a strong night outside of Shane Van Gisbergen. Still work to do to get, adapting to these shorter ovals now. He seems to be really well at the 1.5 miles, but the shorter tracks, including Gateway, although Gateway it's a pretty large track, but mainly the shorter tracks he's really struggled with getting used to as we continue on to 3 laps to go. Fortunately, at this point, I'd kind of settled in. I had figured out the limit of where my tires were, and I wasn't really overstepping the boundaries at this point. 2 laps to go. I'm still slipping and sliding a little bit, but Ty Gibbs is running away down the backstretch. Byron is now getting passed out of turn 4. Bell back to second, but it's white flag in the air. Too little too late for the 20 of Christopher Bell. It's the final lap for Ty Gibbs as we run P5. No pressure from behind. Kozlowski P6, but we got multiple car lengths between himself and I, and multiple car lengths between Gibbs and the rest of the field as he leads the way out of 2 down this back straightaway. We had a good carb, top 10 carb, top 5 carb all night long. Just didn't quite have enough. After qualifying on the front row, I thought we were the favorite to win, but we were proven wrong pretty quick. It was Ty Gibbs all along, and out of turn 4, Ty Gibbs, career win number 3 to tie myself in his first win of season 3. That will put him inside the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs here as we come home in 5th place. And Gibbs gets to burn it down on the front straightaway in front of the St. Louis crowd here now as he picks up the win in Gateway. It's a JGR 1-2. Byron ends up 3rd. Chastain, myself, Kozlowski. How about Elliott? Kind of quiet night, but P7. Busch drops down to 8th. 9th and 10th goes to Buescher as well as Tyler Reddick. A few notables immediately. Host of our P11. Good night for him. Haley, last week's winner, 12th. Hamlin dropped out of the top 10. Bubba down in P16 over Ryan Blaney. Chandler Smith, Ryan Priest, top 20s for them. Rick Ware Racing RWR continues to improve. Shane Van Gisbergen just inside the top 20. A few surprises. Larson and Logano, who have had great start to the seasons, both outside the top 20 tonight as well. At the bottom, look at Colleague Racing, 37th, 38th right there. Todd Gilliland, Chase Purdy with 2 DNFs. Suarez as well, 32nd. Corey Heim in 31st. Actually, one of his better efforts so far for his rookie season. That's going to wrap it up for me. Next episode, 1.5 mile racing again from Atlanta. Last time we went there, Larson, or not to there, Atlanta, but to 1.5 miles, Larson absolutely dominated the field. Can he do it again? We'll find out next episode. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.